Okay, Ross, it's the 6th of May. It's rather cold across the prairies. We do have some spring crop that is out of the ground. How is it dealing with this cold weather?
Well, that's always an interesting question with any cereal crop. If you seeded early, and there was a few farmers who did get in early in April, the crop was seeded and then the wheat is now up. And now we've had these fairly cold temperatures. Odds are that the spring wheat will be able to tolerate it, and once it warms up in a few days, and it'll take off and continue growing. In the worst case scenario, if the above ground material does get frozen, I'm still not really concerned because the growing point is below the soil surface. That crop will already have a root system established, and so this will just continue to come from below the soil surface. New growth will come and carry on. So for crops that were seeded early this spring and are already up, I'm really not too concerned. For wheat that was seeded, it's imbibed and moisture. It's initiated germination, but it hasn't emerged yet. I'm a bit more concerned about that. If just on the off chance it's gotten really cold and maybe that just seed is just germinating and it might have frozen, that could kill it. But I think that's very unlikely. I think there's enough heat in the soil that those seeds will have germinated. It'll still be warm enough. They won't have actually frozen. And once it warms up, then that crop will take off. And odds are that'll be probably the better yielding crops versus crops that will be seeded later.
So just because it was in earlier?
Yeah, just because it was in earlier. And then once it warms up, that seed is already in the ground ready to take off.
So do we think that it's zero out today? I don't know if you can tell from the video, people that are watching, but it's zero out today.
Mm-hmm.
So is it the crop the stuff that has emerged, is it just sitting there and just in a holding pattern waiting for some heat?
Basically, it just those plants are just kind of shut right down. They're not doing anything. There's no heat to initiate or keep things moving. So they're just basically in a holding pattern. Okay. And then once it starts to warm up, then they'll start to grow again.
Are we suffering any yield loss? Or you think
really,
it is still yield more than later seeded crops?
To be honest, what's in the ground now is definitely going to lead, I shouldn't say very definitely, but very likely will yield more than the crops will be, the same crops, the same varieties, they'll be seeded after things warm up. Just because that crop is going to be, is sitting there ready to emerge and start growing, where when we seed a little bit later, it's going to take, that crop that we seed later will always be a week or two behind, and won't have that quite same yield potential.